Good afternoon, and welcome to We Believe Digital Studios for our twice-a-week news break show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 noon. Chris Young with you this afternoon. Got a whole bunch of stories to share with you. We make our way through, and we typically will start out on the global side. We're going to go to this dam in Ukraine, Kherson, I believe it's pronounced Ukraine. We reported this to you on Wednesday, this breach of this dam, leaving hundreds and hundreds of people homeless, tens of thousands of people downstream of the dam being flooded, some 80 different towns being flooded out by the breach of this dam. You got hundreds of people hunkering on rooftops, pleading for help. They can't get any drinking water. It's been going on for days now. And along comes a Norwegian scientist, say that they found evidence of an explosion in the area of the dam around the time the water began pouring through. So, and also a Ukraine Domestic Security Service claims that they have a recording that shows that Russian soldiers admitted that it's the Russian forces that attacked the dam. So, they're at war over there, and things happen, but from the humanitarian side, it's just really, really rough over there right now, and we just wanted to share that with you. The next story, maybe a little bit different. You might not see this on all the platforms, but the biggest ruby ever to come to auction sold in New York yesterday for $34.8 million. This is Sotheby's, the auction house. They auctioned this 55.22 carat gem, described as a once-in-a-lifetime jewel. The original rough stone that it came from weighed a staggering 108 carats when it was found last year in a mine in Mozambique. They say that that's where the vast majority of ruby deposits are in the north of the country. So they say it's very rare to see a ruby that's more than 5 carats, and this one was 55 carats. So man, oh man, how about that? $34.8 million for this stone. On the national front here in the United States, things going on. Oh, we lost the things going on the national level. The New York Daily News had a headline this morning. It was very brief. In bold letters, it said, "Indicted again." History unfolds as the feds file criminal charges against our former president, Donald Trump, in Florida. This is tied to the documents, 15 boxes worth of documents that he decided that he wanted to maintain custody of despite the regulations and the protocols. And then when he was asked to return the documents, he didn't do that. He made it tough, and they had to ask. They had to file court papers. They had to do all kinds of things to get the documents back. Who knows if they even got all the documents back? But he's being charged with 7 criminal counts, including the mishandling of classified documents and obstruction of justice, both under the Espionage Act. So a really sad day when you got somebody like this that puts his own wishes and ambitions and so forth in front of the rules and regulations of the country that he once governed, was once the chief executive for. So there's all kinds of news reporting going on this, and people say he's really shaking up his legal team right now and going to try to fight this. Apparently on his social media last night, he put all in bold letters, "I'm an innocent man." So a lot of Republican higher ups have speaking out in his defense, saying he's innocent till he's proven guilty. But Mitt Romney, one of the senior, pardon me. He say Trump, Trump did this to himself. So on some level, it's sad. On other days, I think it's just a sign of the times. It's the way it is. Everybody knew who this guy was before we voted him into office. USA Today had said a couple of years ago that in his lifetime, he's been involved in over 4,000 legal situations, either as defendant or plaintiff. But this is the feds. Pardon me. So we'll see how all this turns out. We got some news from the Supreme Court yesterday. Really, many people say it's unexpected that the court affirming part of the Voting Rights Act and that had been buried once before, not just a win for black voters in Alabama, it could also send Democrats in Congress Democrats in Congress in as many as 4 different states could be impacted by this ruling. The state legislature in Alabama, was gerrymandering the voting districts, and they tried to pack, and P.S., guess who else has done that? They tried to pack as many black voters as possible into this one congressional district. And Mississippi has done the very same thing. You see Benny Thompson now, his district has expanded way up to northern Mississippi and all the way down to the southwestern corner of Mississippi, just trying to pack as many black voters as possible into his district so they can call that, fair and balanced. But the Supreme Court struck down their argument on a 5-4 decision. John Roberts, the Chief Justice, along with Kavanaugh, joined what they refer to as the liberals on the court, agreeing that with the lower court that the state had diluted the power of black voters by drawing just one majority black district. By drawing just one majority black district, when there were enough voters for 2 different seats, but they didn't want to give the black voters 2 seats. They wanted to keep it all in 1 seat. Scholar and progressive activist Cornel West announced Monday he's running for president next year as a third-party candidate, saying he wants to empower people who've been pushed to the margins. In these bleak times, he said, I've decided to run for truth and justice, which takes the form of running for president of the United States as a candidate of the People's Party. He said, I enter in a quest for truth. I enter in the quest for justice, and the presidency is just one vehicle to pursue the truth and justice. What I've been doing all my life is what Cornel West says. So there we go on the national side. Make sure I don't have any more there. And we head on down to the Mississippi side before we end up going to break. And that is always starts out with the fact that today we have another day in Mississippi where none of our Republican leaders in the state, these people claim to govern for all Mississippians, and none of them have called for any kind of a hearing on the multi-million-dollar TANF scandal. So they're just content as can be to stay tight-lipped about this, not bring any more attention to it than is already there, and let the legal people do it. But of course, when the legal people get too close, Tate Reeves fired this guy, Pigott, an experienced prosecutor. But when he got too close in the case, too close to Reeves and Southern Mississippi, it appears, he got fired. Interesting. So we got to keep an eye on this, because none of our Republican folks are willing to do that. Not one of them is standing up and demanding hearings on this, having a town hall on it, a forum, press conference, anything like that. Also, coming out of Mississippi Today, and they're reporting the Mississippi Supreme Court has ruled that the Democratic gubernatorial candidate Bob Higginbotham waited too late to appeal the state party kicking him off the ballot for the August 8th primary. This is kind of sad. This is not the first time that's happened. And it's not the first time somebody's been late with the filings, but I don't have all that data in front of me. But obviously, the Supreme Court would have insisted of having that data in front of them, and they determined that he waited too late, a couple of months after he was notified, before he put the required financial related paperwork to be put on the ballot for the August 8th primary. So that leaves Brandon Presley as the only person challenging Tate Reeves in November. So as far as I can tell, and the Mississippi Link will be interviewing Brandon Presley today, and we'll have that out. We'll have that out to you next Wednesday evening online, and have the print edition out to you next Thursday. Related to Mississippi, certainly on this day in 1963, returning from a Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, training session in South Carolina, Fannie Lou Hamer and 9 other civil rights movement activists dared to ride in the, quote, white section of the Greyhound bus and sit at the, quote, whites only, unquote, lunch counter inside the bus terminal in Winona, Mississippi. The police chief had them arrested. Inside the jail, activists Fannie Lou Hamer, June Johnson, Annell Ponder, and Lawrence Guillot were all beaten. Jailers brought in 2 black inmates to torture Hamer, who called the violence, quote, the most horrifying experience I've ever had in my life. So on this day in 1963, the state health officer has told, or this comes from WJTV reporting, State Health Officer Dr. Dan Edney made one big ask of lawmakers this year when they were in session, and that was $9 million to hire nurses needed to fully staff county health departments, and a program that puts nurses in the homes of low-income pregnant women with high-risk pregnancies. And, this was not about the hospitals. This was about, county health departments, what we call public health. And he made the request. As he made the request, news was in the headlines in Mississippi about the county reporting the state's financially struggling hospitals, worsening maternal mortality crisis, and one of the highest uninsured populations in the country as a result of state leaders' steadfast opposition to Medicaid expansion. So when he made his ask for public health, for helping put nurses in homes of low-income pregnant women and to fully staff county health departments, he got one answer from the legislature, and the answer was no. And each day today, we see more and more instances of reduced levels of health care going on, and hospitals closing, massive layoffs of was St. Dominic's just the other day, 157, 5% of their workforce laid off. Well, you know, what happens to those people? What happens to their families? They just don't have the money, it seems. And then they cut off critical services. You know, we've seen NICU services cut off. We've seen behavioral health cut off. It's not a pretty picture, and yet the legislature gave a pittance of what was requested in the money, and now these hospitals are struggling to access it in the manner they're supposed to access the funding. So there's some money there, but they're having trouble getting to it. So sad, you know. And why is the governor not calling a special session? I mean, are you not, as the chief executive of the state, are you not responsible for the welfare of the people in the state? You know, for the safety. Well, how can you have such a broken public health system and call yourself responsible? It's horrible. You ought to call these people back into a special session, you know, to get their extra dollars. They love that. We are in a surplus time with the state coffers. You know, the state coffers that are filled predominantly by American taxpayers from other states. But will he do that? Well, we certainly call on him to do that. Another story on the, well, you know, there we go. We're about halfway there. So let's take a break out right there and hear a couple of commercials, and then we'll be right back with you for the last segment.
Looking for the hottest content in the city of Jackson and surrounding areas? Check out WeBelieveDigital.com. Looking for the hottest content in the city of Jackson and surrounding areas? Check out WeBelieveDigital.com. Also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We Believe Digital Podcast is here for all your podcasting needs.
The Mississippi Link is an African-American female-owned newspaper with a trusted voice that is highly respected throughout the city, state, and nation. Our motto, keepers of the knowledge for people who speak the truth, since 1993. Link significantly influences the thoughts, attitudes, and buying decisions of its readers. Call us at 601-368-8481 for your advertising needs. If you would like to receive a newspaper in the mail each week, our annual subscription is only $52 per year. That is only $1 per week for you to stay informed regarding many stories that you can only get in the Mississippi Link. Sign up today at themississippilink.com and click on Home Delivery.
And welcome back to We Believe Digital Studios, here with you today for the Newsbreak Show. Got this second segment coming at you today. If you ever have any questions about We Believe Digital, comments, feedback, interest in doing your own advertising, maybe doing your own show, please give us a call, 1-800-492-5186. We have a crackerjack producer here and engineer and a young intern. When I say young, I mean young. She got a 4-year-old brother, and today my grandson turned 3. So talk about feeling old in today. But so getting back to it, got some news from the Choctaw Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians. WJTV reported Cyrus Ben won a second term as chief of the Mississippi Band of Choctaw. He defeated a former chief, Phyllis Anderson. And one other candidate, Tarina Anderson, I'm not sure if they're related, in Tuesday's election, according to the tribal election results posted on the Choctaws Facebook page. So Cyrus Ben had been first elected chief in 2019 when he defeated Phyllis Anderson then in a runoff for the office that she had held since 2011. So a little change in leadership there, back and forth in the Choctaw Mississippi Band. In Flowood yesterday, put this under Mississippi News, could just as easily go under Hinds County and Jackson, but Flowood yesterday, Myrlie Evers had some things to say. And, this whole month really devoted to remembrance, the 60-year anniversary of Medgar Evers' assassination in his carport and here in Jackson. And she has been just a tireless devoted to his memory and the things that he stood for. And in Flowood yesterday, she said, I stand here before you 90 years of age. My knees might be weak, but my spirit is strong. She was given roses by members of her alma mater, Alcorn State. Remember, that's where they met at. Cade Chapel's Mass Choir was also at the event and performed a musical showcase with, quote, mad drama from the Jackson State University. Back to her quoting, when my husband came home one night, got out of his car, and a shot rang out, our children fell to the floor, as he had taught them to do. I ran to the door to open it, and there was the love of my life dying on our carport, she said. She said Medgar Evers' spirit and legacy have given her strength all these years. I shall never forget, he told me, Myrlie, you are stronger than you think you are, and God is with you. She said, I never lost that, and I still carry it with me until this day. And related also, yesterday was a very historic day in Jackson because the Medgar and Myrlie Evers home national monument officially became part of the national park system yesterday. Thousands and thousands of people visit the home on a regular basis. I know I had company here just the weekend before last, and Memorial Day weekend, and that was the second or third place I brought my brother to show him. So part of the National Park Service system now, and we're hoping that guarantees that'll be lifted up and all. And Tougaloo and Millsaps take ownership of keeping the property up to speed, and the resources will be there for sure now to do that. Several national, state, and city figures were there yesterday, including Myrlie Evers Williams, who now does live in California, has for years. Lots of people attending the grand opening ceremony Thursday as part of the week-long celebration of Medgar Evers' life and legacy. Quote, I didn't quite understand how that man felt so seriously strong and good about the state of Mississippi, Evers Williams said. I would ask him, how can you? And his answer was always, how can't I? Dedicated, devoted to this state, devoted to trying to overturn the vicious oppression, the slavery, the remnants rather of slavery, and the sizzling hot behavior, oppression by people just sinful in so many ways. But his life was devoted to helping us in that area, helping our state. There's events going on all over throughout this particular weekend, but many of those events are invite only, But on Saturday, June 10th, there is an Evers parade. Now, that'll be going right down, Evers and MLK, right through Freedom Corner. That's going to happen. So that's on Saturday. Parade celebrating and honoring the life of Medgar Murley and Charles Evers. This parade led by Councilman Stokes, of course, and the Evers family. There's a Gen Z summit, self-guided Medgar Evers Justice Tour, images of the movement, exhibit by Ernest Withers. On Sunday, there's designating Medgar Evers Sunday activities throughout the metro. So please check on your social media, Jackson Partners, et cetera, get the most up-to-date thing here. On Monday, there's a recognition of sacrifice, a remembrance ceremony, and a moment of silence followed at this new national monument. So that's scheduled. Also, please remember, too, the two museums. At the two museums, the entire month, there's a exhibit dedicated to Medgar Evers, and on Father's Day weekend, admission will be free. So the exhibit is open the entire month. Can't wait to get over there and see it. But on Father's Day weekend, somebody's paying the tab for everybody to go free. So we say a little prayer of thanks to them, and we get on over there and see that exhibit. We can't let this this national hero, who now has a Navy ship named in his honor, we must find a bridge from these giants of yesterday to today. Who are they? Who is the next Medgar Evers growing up in Mississippi today? I'd love to meet you. Love you to be sitting right here beside me and talk to the people on We Believe Digital. So that's all we have for you today. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Wish you well out there. Take good care of yourselves and others, and have a great weekend. We look forward to seeing you back Wednesday at 12 noon.